Interactive jog start-stop functionality is a control scheme used in various industrial and automation applications. It allows for precise and controlled movement of machinery or equipment. The jog function typically refers to incremental or momentary movements, enabling operators to position or adjust the equipment with a high degree of accuracy. The start and stop functions provide standard on and off control for continuous operation. A jog start-stop system generally involves a control panel or interface with buttons or switches for each function. The jog button, when pressed, initiates a small, controlled movement of the machinery. This movement continues only as long as the button is held down. The start button initiates continuous operation of the equipment. The stop button halts the operation. Programmable logic controllers, or PLCs, are often used to implement the control logic for jog start-stop systems. The PLC receives input signals from the control panel and sends output signals to the machinery's motor drives or actuators. Safety features are crucial in jog start-stop systems. These features include emergency stop buttons, limit switches, and safety interlocks. These features are designed to prevent accidents and protect personnel. Emergency stop buttons provide a means to immediately halt the operation of the equipment in case of an emergency. Limit switches are used to prevent over travel or collisions. Safety interlocks ensure that the equipment cannot be started unless certain safety conditions are met. Proper training and adherence to safety procedures are essential for operating jog start-stop systems safely. Operators should be familiar with the function of each control and the location of all safety devices. Regular maintenance and inspection of the system are also important to ensure its continued safe and reliable operation. When seeking to download interactive simulations or software related to jog start-stop systems, it is important to exercise caution and verify the source of the files. Downloading files from unknown or untrusted sources can expose systems to security risks such as malware or viruses. It is recommended to obtain software from reputable vendors or official websites. Before installing any software, it is important to scan the files for viruses and other malware. It is also advisable to create a backup of the system before installing new software. This will allow for easy recovery in case of any problems. When dealing with any software or control systems related to machinery, safety should always be the top priority. Always follow safety procedures and guidelines to prevent accidents and protect personnel. If you are unsure about any aspect of the system, consult with a qualified technician or engineer. PLC programming is commonly used to implement jog start-stop functionality in industrial automation systems. The PLC program monitors the inputs from the jog, start, and stop buttons and controls the outputs to the motor starter or variable frequency drive, or VFD, that controls the motor. In a typical PLC program for a jog start-stop system, there would be several key elements. Firstly, input monitoring. The program continuously monitors the status of the jog, start, and stop buttons. These inputs are typically connected to the PLC input modules. Secondly, interlocking logic. The program implements interlocking logic to prevent conflicting commands, such as starting the motor while the jog button is pressed. Thirdly, motor control logic. The program controls the output to the motor starter or VFD based on the status of the input buttons and the interlocking logic. Fourthly, safety features. The program incorporates safety features such as emergency stop functionality and overload protection. The jog function is usually implemented by energizing the motor for a short period of time each time the jog button is pressed. The duration of the jog pulse can be adjusted in the PLC program to control the amount of movement. The start function energizes the motor continuously until the stop button is pressed. The stop function energizes the motor immediately. Safety features are implemented using safety relays or safety-rated PLC modules. These devices provide redundant monitoring and control of safety-critical functions, such as emergency stop and overload protection. When designing a jog start-stop system, it is important to consider the specific requirements of the application. This includes the type of motor being used, the load being driven, and the safety requirements. It is also important to select appropriate hardware and software components that are compatible with each other. Proper commissioning and testing of the system are essential to ensure that it operates safely and reliably. This includes verifying the functionality of all inputs, outputs, and safety features. Regular maintenance and inspection of the system are also important to ensure its continued safe and reliable operation. Understanding motor control circuits and ladder logic diagrams is crucial for troubleshooting and maintaining jog start-stop systems. A motor control circuit typically consists of several components. These components include a power source, a motor starter, overload protection, and control devices such as push buttons and switches. The motor starter is an electromechanical device that controls the flow of power to the motor. It typically consists of a contactor and an overload relay. The contactor is a switch that is used to energize and de-energize the motor. The overload relay is a protective device that is designed to protect the motor from overheating. Control devices such as push buttons and switches are used to control the operation of the motor starter. These devices can be wired in a variety of ways to provide different control functions, such as start, stop, jog, and reverse. Ladder logic diagrams are a graphical programming language that is commonly used to program PLC. A ladder logic diagram consists of a series of rungs, each of which represents a logical statement. The rungs are connected together to form a complete program. The ladder logic program monitors the inputs from the control devices and controls the outputs to the motor starter. When troubleshooting a jog start-stop system, it is important to have a good understanding of motor control circuits and ladder logic diagrams. This will allow you to quickly identify and resolve any problems that may occur. Here are some common problems that can occur in a jog start-stop system. Firstly, the motor does not start when the start button is pressed. This could be caused by a blown fuse, a tripped circuit breaker, a faulty motor starter, or a wiring problem. Secondly, the motor does not stop when the stop button is pressed. This could be caused by a welded contactor, a faulty stop button, or a wiring problem. Thirdly, the motor starts unexpectedly. This could be caused by a short circuit, a faulty start button, or a wiring problem. Fourthly, the motor overloads and trips the overload relay. This could be caused by an overloaded motor, a faulty overload relay, or a wiring problem. To troubleshoot these problems, it is important to use a systematic approach. Firstly, check the power supply to the motor. Make sure that the voltage is correct and that the fuses and circuit breakers are in good condition. Secondly, check the motor starter. Make sure that the contactor is closing and opening properly and that the overload relay is not tripped. Thirdly, check the control devices. Make sure that the push buttons and switches are working properly and that the wiring is correct. Fourthly, check the motor. Make sure that the motor is not overloaded and that the windings are not shorted. If you are unable to resolve the problem yourself, it is important to consult with a qualified electrician or technician. They will have the knowledge and experience to diagnose and repair the problem safely and effectively.